Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter Rise, and today I'm going to be bringing you my current Gunlance build. And before you mention it in the comments, yes, I am well aware of the fact that I tend to post a lot of Gunlance videos here on the channel. That is because this is my main weapon. This is the weapon that I like to play the most in Monster Hunter Rise, as well as most Monster Hunter games. And as such, this is the weapon that I tend to experiment with the most and come up with the most builds. Also, I hope that by me posting a lot of Gunlance videos, I will convert more people to the power of the Gunlance, which is going to be pretty awesome. Especially due to the fact that once I convert enough people, I'm going to leverage all of you against Capcom and force them to buff my weapon. This is my big brain 500 IQ plan, you see, because right now, Gunlance is at the bottom of the list when it comes to damage output in Monster Hunter Rise. But that is going to change. The more of you guys join the Gunlance gang, the more numbers we'll have, the more we'll be able to leverage against Capcom. See, this is what we're going to do. We're going to win through sheer pressure. But anyways, let's get back onto the topic. Now, I actually experimented with quite a couple of sets before I figured out which one was vibing with me the most. I went ahead and I did the whole Ibushi Narwa thing, which was the Chad Gunlance build that I posted, which I still think is a really fun build. Then I tried out a full Volstrax set build, which is also very good, gives you a decent balance of offense and defense through the use of the Dragonheart set bonus, which is actually a pretty fun playstyle to tinker around with. But both of those builds lacked one thing that I simply could not put into them, which was sharpness management, which ended up with me having to use the Rampage Gunlance with long blue, which, you know, eventually got a little bit annoying. So I started experimenting with different things until I came up with what you guys are watching on screen right now. So this build right here, for the weapon, we have the Araknalance. This is Raknakadaki's Gunlance. It is one of the best Gunlances in the game. And I know that you look at it and you're like, but Rurikhan, that raw seems really weak. Yes, you are correct. The raw is not fantastic, but it does come with wide sharpness to make up for it. Comes with a little bit of fire damage, which is not really that important, but it does have a cool animation whenever you hit a monster with it. It's almost like you shelled it because you get a little fire explosion whenever you hit monsters. You know, style is important, isn't that what everybody likes to say? So, you know, the little fire damage animation, I personally like it, although it's not really a factor in me choosing this weapon. Then you have 25% affinity. So if you think about it, you're like, whoa, you're trying to tell me I got white sharpness and 25% affinity, and on top of it, you have a tier 2 decoration slot and 2 tier 1 decoration slots, and level 5 normal shelling? What the hell is going on with this Gunlance? There's just too many good things in it. And it's just, I've been blinded by all of the stuff that we got with 3.0 that I was just focusing on, like, oh, let me do Rampage Gunlances and try this version of the Rampage Gunlance and that different of the Rampage Gunlance, when potentially, and I do say this, potentially the best Gunlance in the game was sitting right in front of me since 2.0. And I don't know if, from a mathematical standpoint, this is the best Gunlance, but I can tell you right now, it's pretty damn powerful. And now, if you look into the Rampage skills, we have Wyvern Exploit in here. You guys are like, wait, what's going on here, Rurikhan? How do you have Wyvern Exploit in the Araknalance? I mean, I can even see right there the Rampage skills say Attack Boost 4, Fire Boost 2, and Silk Mine Boost. Are you hacking the game? No. This is something that I've explained multiple times in the past in other videos. You can inherit Rampage skills from previous weapons in the tree. So if instead of just crafting the Araknalance by crafting the first step of the Araknalance, you actually craft it through the Bahabra tree, which is above the Araknalance tree, you can, you know, just craft any of those Bahabra weapons, and before you upgrade it into the Araknalance, you're going to give it the Wyvern Exploit Rampage skill, and then you upgrade it into the Araknalance, and that is going to inherit the Wyvern Exploit skill. And some of you guys might be wondering, well, why is that skill so important? Well, it's not like it's super important, but it is going to buff the damage of your shells, and it is one of the very few skills in the game that can actually buff the damage of shells. It's only a little bit, but it's still going to work. Although, it only works on Wyvern type monsters. So for instance, if you go up against the Rajang, it's not really going to do anything because Rajang is not a Wyvern type creature. So for that, you might want attack boost 4. So you might even want to craft like 2 versions of this Gunlance, and then, you know, use a different version based on what monster you're fighting. It's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Right now I'm just using this one, but I'm probably going to craft another one and put attack boost 4 on it for whenever I am not fighting a Wyvern creature. But basically any creature that has Wyvern in the name is going to be taking additional damage from your melee hits as well as additional damage from your shells. It's a very small difference, but it is there. And you know, we're always trying to maximize the damage of our shells as much as we possibly can, so why not just a little bit more? Now, when it comes to the armor set, you're going to be looking at the Kaiser Crown because it's just got so many good things. Like, got that critical eye that's going to synergize really nicely with the 25% affinity that we already have. It's going to put us at 40% base affinity, which is really, really good for a Gunlance. Then you have the Vike Mail, which is the obvious choice when it comes to chest for the Gunlance, unless maybe you're going for like the Almudron chest piece for additional razor sharp, but most of the times the Vike Mail is the best. And you got 3 pieces of Basil Goose armor because Basil Goose is just an absolute beast when it comes to armor for Gunlance and Charge Blade even. Then we have the Demon Petal Ace because I'm going for maximum damage if I happen to catch a couple of Spirit Birds along the way, but you feel free to use whatever you want when it comes to this. And then we have a talisman here that is actually the whole point of this talisman is to be able to get 2 evade extender in a tier 2 slot. If you can't get that, try to get as much evade extender as you can and a tier 2 slot. Or, you know, if you don't care that much about evade extender, that's up to you. But personally, I can't play Gunlance without evade extender. I think it's just a completely must-have skill. In my personal case, I also happen to have a charm that has 2 evade extender and 2 stun resistance, which for the fight that you guys are watching in the background of this video was particularly useful because, as you guys know, you can get stunned pretty easily by Apex and Ogre, but you know, not everybody's gonna be able to have that. But basically the point is just try to get some evade extender and 1 tier 2 slot for weakness exploit, or get at least 1 point of weakness exploit and as much evade extender as you possibly can. That's the purpose of the charm right there. Now, when you're looking at the decorations, on the Araknalance, we have a Sharp Deco and 2 Grinder Decos. On the Kaiser Crown, we have another Grinder Deco. On the Vike Mail, we have 2 more Sharp Decos and a Steadfast Deco. And in here, if you're playing in multiplayer, I would actually put in a Brace decoration, unless you can put one on your necklace, which in my case I cannot. So, you know, you might not be able to be stun immune if you have a necklace like mine, but I doubt a lot of people are going to have a necklace like this because charms obviously are random, but just be aware if you're playing multiplayer, you're going to want to have that brace. Then on the Basil Goose braces, we have 2 critical decos. On the Basil Goose coil, we have 2 tenderizer decos. On the Basil Goose greaves, we have an artillery deco. And then on our charm, we have a tenderizer deco. Like I said, the purpose of the charm is get at least 1 weakness exploit and as much evade extender as you possibly can. Evade extender charms are fairly common. Like, I have quite a few of them, so I don't think that this should be too hard to get. Now, when it comes to the final build, you're going to be looking at Critical Eye level 3, which is going to boost our affinity to 40% base, which is really, really good in my opinion. Then you have Critical Boost level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, which means that whenever you are hitting a weak spot, you are hitting with 90% affinity, which is pretty damn spicy. Then you have level 3 Protective Polish, which is essential in order for you to maintain the white sharpness of this weapon, because, like I said, this weapon has very low raw damage, so you really need to maintain that white sharpness as much as you can. If you are good enough, like I've seen Ryu play with this weapon, and he actually plays with razor sharp, but that does mean that you're going to have to be landing as many guard edges as you possibly can to maintain the sharpness of the weapon, naturally. Then you have level 3 artillery, level 3 stun resistance. Like I said, you might not be able to achieve this depending on your charm. Level 3 speed sharpening. This is a must-have because sometimes you will need to sharpen during combat. You just have to like flash the monster and then sharpen, and it should be super fast. And then the protective polish is going to activate. It's going to give you 90 seconds of white sharpness, which is really, really good. 2 points of guard for the odd block. These come pretty much free with the Basil Goose pieces. 2 points of load shell also come with the Basil Goose pieces. 2 points of evade extender, which should be coming from your charm if you can get them. And 1 point of guard up so that you can basically block everything you want. This also comes for free, I believe, from either the bracers or the belt. I think it's the bracers. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, those are, that is the build. And then if we take a look at the switch skills, we got Blast Dash, Ground Splitter, and Quick Reload. Pretty much a no-brainer. The point of this is to go full burst aggro as much as you possibly can and just use full burst as much as possible. Now I realize that potentially for, especially for the later monsters in the game, going Poke Shell Poke is going to be much safer. And if you follow Chaos Slayer, you'll know that he's been you know, doing stuff with like the Puke Gunlance, which is really, really good. You're going to apply poison. It's going to deal a ton of damage. You're going to be able to do Poke Shell Poke, which is a much safer playstyle than full burst. But, you know, compared to full burst, I always find Poke Shell Poke to be a little bit lackluster in terms of engaging me in the fight. So I've just been playing around with full burst a lot more. One of my complaints that I have is that I can't really do Wyvern Fire as much as I'd like to, because with long shelling Wyvern Fire, there's that additional bit of damage and feels really good, and it's not like a waste of time to use Wyvern Fire. But at the end of the day, what I tend to use the most and what I like to use the most is full burst, so normal shelling does make sense. And not to mention that, you know, the Araknalance, which is one of the best gun lances in the game, is normal shelling. I opted to go for normal shelling for my current build, and this is what I'm currently playing. But let me know what you guys are doing with Gunlance, or if you're playing with other weapons, let me know the styles that you guys are going for with your current weapon of choice. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you did not enjoy the video, hit the dislike button. Feedback is important. If you usually enjoy my content, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, all of that stuff. Do remember, I have been streaming over on Twitch a couple of different games. Also recently, I've been playing through Ratchet & Clank, which is a fantastic title. Really, really love playing that game. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.